This is Rakieem Fox. Today we're going to talk about two video games in the video game sphere. Right now, they currently have elements of censorship in them. The first one we're going to discuss is Resident Evil 4 VR. And it is talking about a one Tom Ivory, who's the executive producer for the VR version of Resident Evil 4, says he stands with censorship. And his excuse is it's 2022 because apparently grown people don't know what year it is. And apparently, being from a part of a generation that just wants the game to be what it used to be, apparently that's problematic. So let's get into it. Now, one of the main reasons why they're talking about censorship, it's not even has anything to do with the gameplay itself or the gore that's in the game, that which they apparently have no problem with. One of the things they said they censored in Resident Evil 4 VR's version is they removed any form of flirting or suggestiveness from the dialogue. Example, when Leon was trying to flirt with Heineken. Another example, when Luis told Ashley she had quote-unquote nice ballistics. Or my other favorite part, when Ashley told Leon to work overtime. And apparently when that lady got that rake put through her face at the beginning of the game, and they were talking about no sexism here, they even replaced that dialogue. For what reason, I don't know. But Capcom and even Oculus, aka Meta, Facebook seems to be okay with these decisions for no reason whatsoever. So, Eurogamer, where the source that I'm using, conversed with the executive producer Tom, and this is what was stated by Mr. Tom Ivory in the report. It says, it's the year 2022 and some of this stuff doesn't age well, and it doesn't fit with the Resident Evil franchise these days. Yes, because big titty, mommy milkers, Sunday church hat wearing ass, Lady Demetrius, however you pronounce her name, fits perfectly into the Resident Evil universe. So, the idea was that we're keeping every aspect of the rooms and the creature that you fight and the story and how it progresses and the plot points of the story. Even though the plot points of the story doesn't make sense because, okay, you're fighting Spaniards, but they're speaking the Spanish versions or slangs that Mexican people use. It doesn't make any sense. Kind of like how they got it wrong in Resident Evil 5 where they had, I think, what was the Kaijuju speaking? It was even the right freaking dialect or whatever region they were in Africa, what the language they speak over there. So Capcom, out of all the things they would care about censoring, you would think that would be one of the things they would want to get right. But oh no, sexist dialogue is the topic of the day. It's the thing that needs to be changed. But you know, just kind of saying it's the year 2020 doesn't fit with the way the Resident Evil should be presented in this day and age. That's the concept there. What do you mean? The day and age of what Resident Evil says about corporations too big to fail. If you get to knock one down, they get absorbed into another one who does the same shady shit that they do. Exactly with the whole point of survival horror mechanics, manage your equipment, and trying to survive a nightmare. You have no right to give the illusion that you shouldn't have any right to survive. I don't care what anybody says about Resident Evil 7 or 8. I still personally, as much as I enjoyed 7, still didn't feel the survival horror aesthetic that I wanted to feel in that game. You still felt superhuman, and now that the eighth thing, whatever his name is an everyman, is some type of mole creature, you're an infected. So how are you supposed to be this everyman in a survival horror situation when you can survive all these weird things and it's a story element? So, as it continues, I definitely agree with the changes we made in the game. So, we're definitely on board with that. I be defending we think it's the right thing. See, now there's a difference from thinking it's the right thing to knowing it's the right thing. You guys are going out of your way to develop bullshit levels of HR resources towards stuff that doesn't improve the game. Then they're talking about, oh, we're going to make a Resident Evil 4 remake. Why? Resident Evil 4 has been updated to every system like a motherfucker. It's not even funny. Not to mention, you just skip Code Veronica X and then Resident Evil 3 remake introduced elements from Resident Evil 4 and 3? Come on now. Capcom doesn't know what they're doing. This game has been a sinking ship since Shinji Mikami left and whoever else has taken over this thing. Now, mind you, I enjoyed 5. I enjoyed 6. 7 was actually decent. I didn't care for 8. Now, this is entirely, the next thing in the article says to add insult to injury. This is Ivory talking, but this is giving an example of what Ivory was talking about. Ivory also talked about changes come to mercenaries mode. So, I read this a little bit. Apparently, they're going to have a new mercenaries mode, which this should have been shipped with the game in the first place. I don't see what you needed to really update on that game mode. They said they're going to bring it, the classic, but they're also going to add something stupid new mode where it's like time attack. it sounds interesting. I would have to see somebody to play it to see and understand it, but I don't really care for that. So it said at the end of the article when they closed, it says, considering the censorship, wokeness, political correctness, and other nonsense inserted into past Resident Evil titles, it would hardly be shocking if, as a joke, I get what they're trying to go, because this sounds like something they're trying to do if Chris Rev was forced to make gay to come Resident Evil 9, because, you know, allegedly Chris cares more about trying to dedicate his life to freeing the world from bioorganic terrorists and everything, bioterrorism and all that other bullshit, that, oh, he must get the urge. I mean, even though in Resident Evil 5 it showed he did try to, in like one of the commercials, it did show he was trying to hook up with some sweet little Asian thing in one of the live action promotional commercials they tried to do for Resident Evil 5. So yeah, Chris is clearly into chicks. So anybody that tries to throw out, oh, he's, yeah, no, it shows that he's into chicks. And in other news, that's enough about Resident Evil 4. In other news, the other one we're going to discuss today is Pocky and Rocky Reshrined, confirmed, censored on both PS4 and Switch for the West. The censor trailer for Pocky and Rocky Reshrined, also known as Kiku Kai Kai, was a sign of things to come as screenshots from the Western version of the PS4 and Nintendo Switch edition censored no Yuzi's cleavage in-game. The Japanese released both, thankfully, allowing the women's bosoms to be visible. So mostly what they're trying to show in this article is that the Amazon store pages show in-game screenshots on the Nintendo Switch and the PS4 version, showing that they're, confirming that in the screenshots that there is a censor version of it, a call for the character no Yuzi's bosom to be covered up. However, I do believe, from what, to be fair, it does allow you to play the game without it being censored, but it doesn't change the fact that somebody had to dedicate time to censoring this for God knows what reason. It's already a game. All you had to do was update everything. And when I say update, I'm talking about maybe update the sprites, maybe clean up some stuff. You decide to go and cover something that was clearly had no problem with it to begin with. So it says, it says Pocky Rocky Reshrined is currently available in Japan for the same two consoles and online playthroughs of the game, which has an English language option on both Switch and PS4, as indicated by the on-screen controls have revealed that no Yuzumi's breasts, bosoms, breasticles are on full display. Yes, in that version, yes, they are there, but the whole fact of the matter is that then the Japanese version, not censored, but if you get the English version, definitely censored. Even though you can get it, still play it without the censorship, it doesn't change the fact it shouldn't be there in the first place. So they said the Western release of this game is going to be coming out on July 24th or May 31st for some online retail, May 31st later for online retailers. Now, they closed out the article by saying the censorship is just one more example of the female figure being demonized in the West, and no doubt an attempt to push the narrative that female sex appeal is offensive. Sex sells. Nothing's wrong with sex selling games. I don't care how good a game is. Sex does sell. Like Babylon's Fall could definitely use some of it. But at the end of the day, it's not the end all be all. Like, for example, the sex appeal they put in games like Dragon's Crown. Yes, that sold me on buying it, but it kept me, but it sold me on buying it. I bought it mainly because of that. But at the same time, the gameplay was so good, it kept me still interested in it. That's what gaming is all about. Nobody should make you feel bad just because somebody put some sex appeal. It's an art form. The moment art is supposed to comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable, so to speak. If they want to talk about video games being an art form, but in the same breath want to censor people's vision on said art form, you can't serve two masters when it comes to art. You can't claim you want to be for art, but then want to censor. It goes both ways, but you can't serve two masters. If you're going to have art, you have to have it in the full frontal, bare naked facts. You can't take away what people have developed for their game.